I will tell you as a working professional, the students that come out of this university are prepared, they're equipped, they have that grit, and that defines what you do when you get into your next thing, whether it's more professional schooling or a working experience. This place sets a foundation that if you go on that continuous learning journey and you apply yourself and you stay focused and you remind yourself that it's the whole person that has to show up no matter where you go, and what you put into it is what you get out of it, that old adage, that's real. Wake Forest gives you that foundation. The things that spoke to me about Wake Forest, first, and we have a day like this, there's a natural beauty about Wake Forest that makes you want to show up on this campus, want to be a part of it. I remember the day that I came for my visit. The sky was popping blue, popping blue. The flowers were beginning to come out, the leaves were beginning to turn green. On those days, they used to play and practice football on campus. So the football team was in spring practice. I saw the basketball team walking around campus, and you knew that because these really tall people were walking around campus. The community that was the people, all of those things to me were foundation setting. So what drove me to Wake was beauty, natural, the reputation of the university, and the feeling that I was going to get a whole university experience from great academics to community environment to sports, all in one place. And I mean big time sports, with the ACC and being Division I sports predominantly across, domains. So all of that brought me here. But then I got here. And I thought when I arrived that I was pretty smart. And I think in week one, I realized that, I wasn't that smart. Because I remember taking like a biology 112 course, and I'm not gonna tell you the grade that I made on that first test, but I quickly realized that it's going to require discipline and hard work and commitment. And so to me, what I have taken from Wake more than anything else is this place taught me how to work and how to focus and how to grind. And yes, how to have some fun in the process, but it was the discipline and the focus and the kind of foundational commitment that the school establishes in you, because they make you work hard. They expect a lot of you. Those things are defining moments for me. First, personally, I met my best friend and my wife right here on this campus. If I step away from we'll call the social side of what Wake Forest did for me, it taught me what problem solving really looks like. And I mean the group projects, the engagement with faculty in a one-on-one basis, the words of encouragement, but frankly, the words of constructive criticism. It's those moments when they basically said in their own ways, Paul, I expect more. And it was those moments where, for me, the expecting more was always encouragement to go further, because they believed in me. They wouldn't have said it to me if they didn't believe in me, but they were saying it as a big brother or a mentor or a father figure or whatever the right term is. But they were saying it to help me go and figure out the things that I was struggling with. You want to figure it out, Paul? We're going to have to go figure out how to solve the problem. And I'll give you the tools, and I'll give you the encouragement, and I'll give you the direction, and I'll allocate and assign teammates that are part of your resource pool. But you got to go solve the problems. Look, it's a perfect sized institution with amazingly bright students and amazing faculty members, and in a setting that helps you to learn and reminds you that you have to also step outside and breathe the beautiful, clean spring air. But the problem solving bit was something that you never leave, or never leaves you, and you never forget. And that was, again, something that Wake Forest really instilled in me. PwC is 370,000 plus people. We operate in 150 or more countries. And we do everything from, we trade on trust, think of that as assurance, audits, non-financial statement assurance type stuff. We do a lot of tax work, from compliance work to tax advice and planning. And we do end-to-end consulting, from strategy to business transformation to technology transformation to cyber risk and control and analytics and data and AI and you get it. So we have three big businesses. But I'd say the defining moment for me, or I should say one of the most proud moments, was taking my family, kids at the time, 8, 10, and 12, and living in London with our firm for 3 years. I mean, it was a fairy tale experience for me, both personally and professionally. I spent time leading pieces of our business, whether it was a practice in Charlotte, North Carolina, or a practice in London, England, or back in New York City, a practice that was a national practice in New York. I had a chance to run all of the offices and regions of our US and Mexico firm, which was fantastic. I had the chance to be the business sponsor for our people strategy. Was I always prepared to step into those next assignments? No. But that's the joy of the opportunity. It's figuring it out. It's the problem solving. It's back to what Wake Forest instills in its students, and certainly has instilled in me. And so all of those I'd put on these are the things that I'm most proud of professionally, that were, frankly, things that you didn't necessarily pursue or chase, but things that just kept coming to you because you were an eager and an able and a competent and engaging teammate of, the people around you. To me, emerging technologies will change our business. But as we talked about this morning with some of our students, you go back to 93, 94, when I was in college at Wake Forest University and the internet was showing up for the first time, and I was listening to dial-up, as I was trying to get on the internet, both on campus and otherwise. We've stared into changing and progressive technologies in the past. And what's happened in the process? Well, we've created jobs, we've created new opportunities, we've done things that we never imagined at speed of change that is great for our business, and it's great for businesses across this country and across this globe. And so to me, what excites me about AI and emerging technologies is the fact that it is going to push us further, faster. You look at things that we do across each of our businesses, and yes, inside PwC, our teammates have what we call Chat PwC, which is the layer that effectively enables our connection to language models across the board. I mean, all of the language models that you or I could otherwise name. We have Microsoft Copilot in the hands of all of our people. So all of our people are engaging the technologies in their workflows every day. Some to a great extent, and some only beginning in the process. AI won't take your job, but someone who knows AI will. And whether we're talking about AI, whether we're talking about quantum computing, whether we're talking about data and analytics, whether we're talking about the advent of technologies moving into cloud environments, to me, if we're not constantly thinking about what's next, what's around the corner, what's 5 years forward, then we're not going to be at the leading edge, either as people or as companies. And at PwC, our strategy, our North Star, our mission, our vision is to drive our clients to the leading edge, period. And so it's a big deal for me. And so my mind is, goodness, I better be at the cutting room floor for AI. And am I the deep technician, engineer that understands all elements and is out creating the agentic workforce and how the agents talk and operate and move together? No, I'm not. But I'm asking lots of questions, and am I engaging loads of smart people who are doing things that I could never have imagined already inside our company with our clients in the marketplace? It already blows my mind, and we are in the infancy part of AI. Attitude matters. Why? Because it attracts people to you. It makes them want to work with you. It makes them want to give you assignments and challenging opportunities, which are hard things to figure out. You need all those things because all of those things enable your progression. So I'd say first, it's attitude. 2, it's do your homework. It's not that different from college. What you put into it is what you get out of it. And so those of us that decide that I have to be on that continuous learning journey, we progress just a little bit faster. We get a little bit smarter. And yes, that means we get loads of work, but to me, you have to be that continuous learner and you have to pour yourself into it. Not because somebody tells you to, not because the job requires it, but because you want to continue to learn. And then the last thing I'd say is, and then be proactive in managing and navigating your own career. Don't wait for somebody to tell you what you're going to do next. If you have something that is a passion of yours, that's something that you're being drawn towards, tell somebody about it. Because the best thing about professional work is when you develop those informal coaches, those informal mentors, those informal champions, and you tell them about your goals, your ambitions, the next thing you know, you find out, or I should say, you find yourself in those environments. And you turn around and you say, how did I get here? Well, I got there by attitude. I got there by hard work. I got there by doing my homework over and over and over again, and by putting myself out there and telling people what my ambitions were. And the next thing you know, you're a partner at PwC, you're a senior partner at PwC, you're the CEO of a private firm, or you're working in private equity or an investment bank, or you're standing in marketing or human capital, or you're teaching at Wake Forest. All of those things happen, in my mind, because of the characteristics of the behaviors that I've just outlined.